What's up everyone, welcome to Stockton. It's a pleasure to meet all of you. On this channel, we talk about stocks before they start blowing up, say goodbye to chasing stocks at all-time highs, and say hello to making some money. So if this sounds like something you want to take advantage of, then hit that beautiful subscribe button and like the video. Now let's get to it. Before we get into the video, I have to say that I'm not a financial advisor. Anything I say is just my opinion and is for entertainment purposes only. Having said that, if I'm talking about a company, I'll let you know whether I'm personally going to invest in it or not towards the end of the video. But you should always do your own due diligence, so with that out of the way, let's get started.
The companies that you invest in the most need to be your highest conviction plays. When I say high conviction, I'm not talking about blind faith or a hunch or because your friend thinks it's going to the moon. High conviction in a company comes from a lot of research into the fundamentals and the future prospects of the company. High conviction is important because during red days or market downturn, you're less likely to be susceptible to panic selling because you've done the work and you know the company and its future potential. So with a company like BNGO, it's important that we analyze and understand the research that's continuously coming out of various hospitals and research universities. Today, I want to go over and summarize a study carried out by Dr. Leila Al-Khattabi in Paris. Stick around till the end of the video because I'll also go over some of the catalysts that are lined up for BNGO this month. Dr. Leila is an associate professor at the University of Paris. She recently presented one of her clinical validation studies. The study consisted of patients with intellectual disability, infertility, a family history of genetic abnormalities, and prenatal samples. The 85 samples carried a total of 100 chromosomal abnormalities or structural variants. She concluded that Sapphire is 100% consistent with the combination of the standard cytogenetic tools, with an easier technical and analytical process, better resolution of breakpoints, allowing for the identification of affected genes and an easier interpretation because there is no overload of irrelevant sequence variants of unknown significance, which is common with long-read sequencing. So first, I want to focus on how the Sapphire system provides an easier technical and analytical process when compared to the existing processes. The current standard of care first-line tests involve three processes: karyotyping, FISH, and/or microarray. BNGO's Sapphire system allows scientists to bypass all of these steps. You no longer need to carry out three separate processes because Sapphire does it all for you in one go. So Sapphire therefore provides an easier technical and analytical process. In the presentation, Dr. Leila talks about how optical mapping will provide significant input to diagnosis by including phenotype and genotype correlations thanks to high precision. It will also allow for new discoveries in unsolved cases, and this will provide a reduced delay in diagnosis. Now, this is an important point. Reduced delays in diagnosis will not only help save a lot of lives, but it will also reduce the impact of the economic cost associated with delayed diagnosis. This is especially true in countries like the UK, where healthcare is free and provided for by the government. She then goes on to talk about how BNGO would be extremely preferable in some clinical indications, especially in reproductive disorders. And then at the end, she talks about how optical genome mapping may become the next generation cytogenetics. Personally, I have no doubt that optical mapping will replace existing cytogenetic tools like karyotyping, microarrays, and FISH. I mean, why would you want to carry out 2 or 3 separate processes or use various tools to do something that BNGO's Sapphire system can do in one go? The convenience, accuracy, and efficiency that BNGO provides will allow widespread adoption of optical mapping in clinical and diagnostic settings, which presents a massive opportunity. Dr. Leila makes another valuable point when she talks about how long-read sequencing is just not suitable for large structural variation detection in a diagnostic setting, and that detection of structural variants using LRS tech is still challenging because LRS focuses more in detecting SNVs or single nucleotide variants instead of the larger SVs. I keep seeing comments on Twitter where people still compare optical mapping with gene sequencing, and I'll keep making this point that they're not similar and that they are used for different purposes. If you want more clarification how BNGO is different from Pacific Biosciences, then go ahead and check out some of the videos that I've made about this topic. I've created a playlist for you in which I break down all of this in an easy to understand manner. I'll put a link to the playlist in the description below. Okay, now let's talk a little about some of the juicy catalysts that are lined up for BNGO. The first catalyst is on the 23rd of March. This is the moment of truth because BNGO is going to report their 4th quarter and year-end 2020 financial results. So it will be interesting to see whether the new strategy that they implemented last year is working or not. The second catalyst is a webinar with Dr. Francis Hai from Mass General Hospital for Children and Harvard Medical School. In this webinar, Dr. Francis will talk about how Sapphire offered improved resolution of structural variants compared to other technologies. I'll be signing up to this webinar and I'll provide you with a summary of what was discussed after. Anyways guys, that's it for today. If you liked the video, then please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next one.